Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Arndt, and I am your peak performance trainer and stress management coach. And I am very excited that you have tuned in today to learn about 10 ways how you can be productive working from home and at the same time having your kids at home as well. I know that this is one of your biggest challenges at the moment. I have heard it from many clients and many participants of my trainings. And no matter if you are a single mom or a single dad, or if you have a partner, I know this can be an extremely challenging time at the moment because you are trying to get everything done in the day. But at the same time, you have your whole family at home. Your partner might be working from home and your kid or kids are at home as well because all of the schools and kindergartens are closed because of the coronavirus. So today I want to share 10 tips with you of how you can stay productive and at the same time enjoy the time with your kids as well. Tip number 1. Be grateful. I know this is a really challenging situation at the moment and I know it can feel really overwhelming, but remember all of the good things that are happening right now. Remember that your kids are safe and healthy, your family is healthy and safe hopefully, and you are still working from home. It means that you're still having a job, which a lot of people can't say at the moment. So really move into being grateful and also enjoy the time that you have with your kids. I'm sure that your kids are really excited and that they are always happy to have a little bit more time with you. And what is also important when we're talking about being grateful and enjoying your time with your kids is also that you need to start setting the right expectations with your team and with your stakeholders, because it is a special time and everybody will understand if you are having a challenging time at the moment because you're having your kids at home. You are not the only one. There are so many people that are having this situation at the moment. So just be open with it and communicate it and set the right expectations. Tip number 2. Plan an emergency schedule. No matter if you are homeschooling your kids by yourself or you're having a partner, it is really important that you're setting up your schedule and that you're really clear about your own time management. What does it mean? If you're having a partner at home, make sure that you're dividing and conquering the task, right? Make sure that your partner has times where he or she is watching the kids and then where you, of course, are watching the kids as well. And make sure that you're finding flexibility in that as well. It doesn't mean that the whole week it has to be the same schedule. Find flexibility and find a schedule on a daily basis. If you're homeschooling your child or your children all by yourself, this is obviously a unique challenging experience for you, but also then make sure that you create an emergency schedule and that you're communicating this with your stakeholders. Think about when they're sleeping, think about when they're having nap time or when you can give them some tasks to do on their own, and then plan your day accordingly. Make sure that you're clearly marking your calendar and that you're communicating these times with your stakeholders. You can, for example, also put a disclaimer in your email footer and say, during COVID-19, these are the times that I'm working and that I'm online and that I am reachable because I am currently taking care of my child or my children. Everybody will understand it. It's important that you communicate it because so often we think that we are communicating things, but we don't communicate enough. So over communication is really, really important when you're creating an emergency schedule. Tip number 3. Set your daily priorities. I am always communicating this and I'm always teaching this no matter if you're working in the office or from home, but it is even more so important that you're setting daily priorities when you're working from home with your kids. Why? Because you will not be able to get everything done. You just need to be more realistic with what you are able to do, and you need to be really clear on what your daily priorities are. And again, you need to communicate that with your stakeholders as well. So I usually say to my clients, really write down a list of 2 to 3 things per day that you really need to get done, and then stick to that list. And that also means that you are canceling meetings that are not important and that are not serving the purpose of those 2 or 3 tasks that you are trying to complete. And it is also really important that you remind yourself that even if you don't get these 2 or 3 tasks done today, tomorrow is the next day. And when you are creating your daily priorities for tomorrow, don't just add to that list. That is the biggest mistake that we are making, because we are just trying to get more done during the day, which is even more unrealistic because we already saw that during that day it was unrealistic to do these 2 or 3 tasks. So make sure that you are really, really clear on what you can get done. And then if you don't get it done today, move this task into the next day. Don't just add a new list and add this additional item to it, but actually get that thing done and then create a new list. So being realistic during these times and really being militant about your priorities is really important. And that brings me to tip number 4, your growth mindset. I love to talk about mindset because it's a really powerful technique that everyone can apply. You can apply it too, because we can move into what can we not control to what can we actually control. And the other question as well is, where can you win time at the moment instead of just focusing on where you are currently losing time because you're having your kids at home? These thoughts don't serve you, so get rid of them. And how do you get rid of them? By focusing on what you can control. So the growth mindset is really, really important. Be flexible with your new schedule and test out new things. It is important that you are making decisions and that you are expecting that maybe not every decision that you're making at the moment is the right decision. But in order to move forward, you need to start making decisions. So you need to make sure that you're starting to integrate the tips that I'm sharing with you today. Tip number 5, be perfectly imperfect. Yes, be perfectly imperfect. I know that all of you like to be perfect, and I know that all of you would love to control everything at all times, but at the moment, this is not the time. So be perfectly imperfect with your time management, with watching your kids, with having a messy house, with not being perfect all around. It's just not possible at the moment. And you need to be a little bit more gentle with yourself and remind yourself that it's okay to be messy and it's okay to just do whatever you can do in one day. Focus on today. Tomorrow is tomorrow. You cannot change tomorrow and you cannot change yesterday, right? And you can only control what is today. So if today you don't have the energy to clean the whole house and wash the dishes and fold the laundry, that's totally okay. Be perfectly imperfect and accept the fact that you cannot control everything at the moment, and this is not a normal situation. Focus on the important things in your life. Focus on getting 2 or 3 important things done during the day, and then of course spend quality time with your kids. Tip number 6. Be creative and open to use digital media. I know that some parents are really careful about how much time they're sitting their kids in front of the TV or in front of a tablet, but this is a very specific time and you can use this digital media as well to help your kids grow. You can choose different channels and education channels. You can put them in front of YouTube videos that are actually educational and helpful and creative for them. So make use of the things that are currently available. There are so many companies that are giving free trials at the moment and that are offering so many things that you can do with your kids, and just make use of that. Be creative, be open to test out new things, make it fun and enjoy the time that you have with your kids together. And of course also find things that maybe your kids can do on their own for an hour or 2 to make sure that you can get a little bit of work done as well. Tip number 7, your oxygen mask first. I'm sure that all of you have been on a flight before, and I'm sure that all of you have heard the emergency guidelines that say when you are traveling with a child, make sure that you put on your oxygen mask first before you're helping other passengers. Because what happens if you are not putting your oxygen mask first? You're not going to survive, and that is exactly why this is extremely important. It is important that even during these times that you find just a little bit of time for yourself and that you're really intentional about when you do that. I know that it is the easiest thing to do to just cut out your own time and your own self-care time, but when you are not filling your own energy levels, how are you going to take care of work and your kids? That is why it is important that even during these difficult times, you need to find 10-15 minutes per day for yourself to intentionally recharge. This could be in the morning when you're waking up and maybe setting your alarm clock 15 minutes earlier and making sure that you're getting a little workout in. Do some yoga, go outside, go and get some fresh air. It could also be in the evening when your kids are in bed and you have finally time to catch up on all the things. I know that immediately you're jumping to the thought of, yes, I can immediately catch up on my emails and all of the things that I need to get done and maybe cleaning the house and all these different things. But we just talked about being perfectly imperfect, making sure that you are creating priorities and at the same time taking care of yourself. So please don't forget yourself. Tip number 8, stay calm. Your kids might be really small still and they might not fully understand what is going on right now. They obviously have some sense that something has changed because all of a sudden they are at home with mom or dad or with both and they are homeschooling. So something has obviously changed, but they might not fully understand the situation. That is why it is particularly important at the moment that you are staying calm and that you are being a good role model to your children. And that also includes practicing self-care and putting your oxygen mask on first. I know this is so funny, like I laugh about this because when I'm talking to parents, they always say, it's just normal that I have to cut something out of my life, and that something is always your own self-care. So it is really important that you're staying calm, and you can only do this when you're having a clear mind and when you're having enough energy for everybody else. Stay positive. It is extremely easy at the moment to be in a victim mode, right? And to think about all of the things that we cannot control at the moment and all of the things that are really terrible and all of the things that are really difficult in our life, because there are a lot of unique challenges that you are working with at the moment and everybody gets it. But it is so much more powerful if you are thinking about how you can get from that victim mode, from blaming others, blaming China, blaming your employer, blaming your colleagues on all of the things that are not going the way you want them to go at the moment, and move into a creative mode. Think about what can you contribute? What can you do in this situation? How can you start to be creative with having your kids at home and still getting some work done? Maybe you're learning some really amazing productivity and time management tools during this time that you never had time to learn because maybe the situation was never as bad as it is at the moment. And now you really, really need to optimize your life because you don't have another choice. So see this as a creative way to learn something new and to use this challenge as an opportunity to make a change in your life and to be a better person. So stay positive and focus on the things that you can control and let go of the things that you cannot control. This is really important. And then the other thing that is really important to say here is that your brain, your prefrontal cortex and your frontal lobe that is responsible for decision making, for organization, for all of the things that we need to do in order to be productive at work, is also at the same time our stress center. So if you are currently in panic mode, in fear mode, in anxiety mode, in distraction mode, then your prefrontal cortex is responsible for that stress mode or for that victim mode, and you cannot at the same time be in a creative space. It is really important that if you are finding yourself in a frazzled state at the moment, that you are doing a relaxation exercise, something really easy like taking 5 deep breaths, taking a piece of paper and a pen and ask yourself the question of, what can I control? What can I do right now? What is 1 or 2 things that I can do right now in order to take a little bit of control back and make a decision that is serving me in order to control something that is within my power? Scrolling through social media and watching the news is not going to help you achieve this. So make sure that you are really, really intentional about being in the control state and staying positive. And my final tip number 10 for today's YouTube video is make it special. This is a special time. Maybe you have always wanted to have more time with your children. Maybe you always wanted to be there to see them grow, to see them learn, to support them maybe in something that they're challenged by. And now is your chance. Make it special. Work is not everything. You are having your job and you are doing a really amazing job at the moment by juggling both things, by juggling 2 jobs simultaneously, your work life and your private personal life with your children. And that is really amazing in itself. So focus your attention as well on making this a really special time for your children. Celebrate it, make it fun. And also, this is the time to also learn how to communicate with your children better. What is going on? Where do you need your time? Where do you need them to do their homework or occupy themselves with something because they are maybe old enough to understand these things? And if they're still really little, this is the most beautiful time where you can really enjoy seeing them grow up, where they can make all these different progresses and all these little tiny advances in their life. And that is really beautiful to watch. So make it special, celebrate it, have fun, and don't forget to take care of yourself. This is the most important thing. So I hope that these 10 tips were really helpful for you today. There are a lot of different videos that I have already recorded that you can find on my YouTube channel in order to support you through this difficult time. And I also have a podcast and a couple of really powerful podcast episodes that you can listen to in order to get a little bit of motivation and inspiration from me and my guests in order to go through this difficult time. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, I would also really appreciate it if you would leave me a comment and let me know what is the biggest challenge that you have at the moment while you're working from home, and how are you managing this challenge? Or do you maybe need a little bit more help with this challenge? Let me know. I'm here for you. I'm answering all of the questions, and I would really appreciate it if you liked this video, if you would give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for today. Talk to you soon. Julia.